Good evening, brothers and sisters. No matter which faith or religion you come from, welcome. This channel is specifically created for people of faith. No matter which faith you belong to, there is a basic principle for all our religions. Ultimately, God is love. God loves you, and if you invite Him into your life, you will begin to see the many ways in which God shows how loved you are. Sudden grace, provision, and support from the people that you never imagined would actually be on your side. Daily miracles from very little things, such as things as simple as giving you your favorite seat at the coffee shop, no matter how crowded it is, and to bigger miracles such as like getting complete recovery from a health issue that had persisted for years. Now, I am not a nun, not a priestess, neither am I a prophetess. I am an ordinary person, just like you. And I am someone who used to be broken with lukewarm faith. And when I finally came to the realization that God is the ultimate matchmaker and that only He can give me the best God-ordained husband suitable for me, who will also be a good, loving father for my child, there were certain actions that I took in faith. And by doing this, not just in marriage, ultimately, God has helped me in all areas of my life where it has been evident that only God could do this. So through this channel, I would like to share my experiences with you. And if anything that I've shared resonates with you, do take it to God and seek His counsel. Now, if you were to look at my channel's title, Let God Be the Matchmaker, that is actually exactly what I had done for my life. And if you are someone who has finally come to the realization, just like I did, where you know for a fact that only God can give you the best life partner ever, whether you're a man who is seeking a God-ordained wife, or whether you're a woman seeking a God-ordained husband, if you were to surrender your will to God and really tell Him to choose your life partner for you, He will definitely give you a life partner that surpasses all your expectations. Even if you were to write a list of characteristics that your future wife or husband should have, whatever is on that list, God is able to deliver that. Plus, He will also give them additional qualities that you do not know or you did not know that you needed. But later on, you will come to find that this person really exceeds all your expectations and is a far better partner than you could have ever imagined when you first wrote that list. Now, for this video, I am not speaking about people who are already in a relationship where they are dating each other for a few months or maybe even for a few years. I will be making a separate video for those who are in a dating relationship. Now, coming back to this video's topic, this video is meant for someone who has been perpetually single for a very, very long time. And for a very, very long time, what I mean to say is this person, maybe they have never have had a romantic relationship in their life, or maybe they just had one or two romantic relationship, and after that it has just been singlehood for them simply because they have not found someone who is a suitable match, or on the other hand, they have been in a toxic relationship for a very long time, and after coming out of that relationship, you feel that you no longer have the strength to even think about being in another relationship. But deep in your heart, you really, truly desire a good life partner for yourself who will be your ultimate companion for life. So if you're someone who fits into any of this description, then please continue listening to this video. So you can be a single person, or you could have been married and divorced, or maybe you have never married and maybe you're a single parent, or you're a divorced person who then became a single parent. So whatever your life circumstances is, no matter how hard things may look right now for you, Maybe you don't even have a cent in your bank account right now. Maybe you're having crippling anxiety where even going through each day at a time is highly taxing for you. No matter what your circumstance is, as long as you have this deep, deep desire to have a loving, faithful life partner for yourself, and if you surrender your will to God and let Him know that this is your really true heart desire to have this life partner, and if you're asking Him to give this person, to bring this person into your life, God will deliver as long as you surrender your will to Him and really completely invite Him into your life and tell Him, God, please just help me in all areas of my life. Just help me, God. Bring me my God ordained spouse who is going to be my best lifelong companion. And also, in that same time, also make me the best partner that I could be for them. By doing this, you're giving God full access to your life. He is not going to enter your life and make major changes unless you give Him the invitation to do that. And trust me, by giving Him invitation to do that, the changes that will come, they are not going to be small. It's going to be hard, and certain days they are going to be really hard. But by going through this process, you will definitely see a very good change in yourself. When there's any problems that appears later on, perhaps at workplace or even like interactions that you have with your family, you'll be able to see many changes in yourself. Familiar topics, old topics that which used to trigger you, where you would give a fiery response, or that would actually lead you to grief for hours, where you keep thinking about the interaction. Perhaps now you have decided that this is not even worth my time to even think about it or to even give a response. So the way that you conduct yourself, the way that you interact with people, you will be seeing so many changes in yourself. There were certain steps that I took when I surrendered my will to God, asking God to move in my life and especially bring my God ordained husband. So before I did that, there were certain things that I had to do with intention. So these are the things that I would like you to also keep in mind and observe. But as always, whatever that I shared with you, if anything resonates with you, do take it to God and also seek His counsel. But remember, every person's love story is different. Don't ever place God in a box. What He has done for me and the miracles that I have observed, they might be completely different for you. You might also be experiencing miracles regarding your God-ordained spouse, but maybe they might be packaged in a different way. If, for instance, you have not experienced any of the things that I am going to mention, please don't take it negatively, thinking that, okay, if these are the things that happened to her and if I did not experience that, then that means I am not hearing from God. He might already have started speaking with you about your God-ordained spouse. Like for instance, let's take a look at the YouTube algorithm. Mine is literally a new channel, and somehow you were made to hear this. So don't just dismiss it as coincidence. There's no such thing as coincidence according to God. Perhaps this is a message that God would like you to hear. So I hope that you'll be patient and bear with me while I share with you my process. So the first thing that I ever did was, number one, I went on my knees and I really prayed to God, asking Him, telling Him and declaring to Him that I surrender my will to Him and that He knows what is the best for me. He is my creator after all, and that He should provide my God-ordained husband for me. So that's the first thing that I did. Now for this declaration, it was just done like one night. I did not fast. I simply took a shower and then I went to the prayer room, and that was a night that I was feeling pretty awful actually. So I was all tears and I just knelt and did a total surrender, and I told God, please, I'm surrendering my will to you. This is the desire that's in my heart. Please bring my God-ordained husband to me, and please also help me, shape me into the right kind of woman who will best assist and serve my God-ordained husband. So that is the first thing that I prayed. Secondly, there is some misguided information that is going around singles. I'm very sure that it's not just in the Asian community. I think this is also in the Western community. where singles, especially singles who choose to be single by choice, actually give this advice to their younger brothers and sisters who share the same faith. They will tell them, actually, you know something, marriage is not for everyone. You should really just leave it to God and tell Him, God, if you really wish to see me being married and live in a complete family, then please bring me the right person. Or if you prefer that I should live as a single person for the rest of my life serving you, then I'll just be happy to do that. And some singles who take this advice seriously, they do pray this over themselves every day. And this is not just for months, they do this for years, and for some, they also do it for decades. But the real issue is, deep in their hearts, they actually desire marriage. So, the thing is it wrong to desire marriage? No. Usually in many, especially for religious circles, they usually say that, oh, if you were to declare that you desire marriage, then that is idolatry. You shouldn't idolize marriage. So in that sense, you're actually placing the desire for marriage at a higher pedestal compared to God. So that is wrong, and that is a very wrong intention. So you shouldn't do that. Do not declare that. Just leave it to God. If God were to fulfill that desire for you, that's great. But you don't make it a point to keep praying about your marriage. My dear brother and sister, this is terrible advice. Now, if you are a person who is completely content on being single, and if you only wish to be single and serve your God for the rest of your life, then you can just pray and say, thank you, God, for letting me be single and to serve you. But if you have other plans for me in this life, please reveal to me what your plans are for my life. And whatever plan that you have chosen for me, I will follow that faithfully. Okay? You can say that. But if you're someone truly desire marriage for yourself, this is what you can do. Even if you had been doing the prayer like what I have just mentioned, where you have asked God, no, let me be single or let me be married. Instead of that, even if you were saying that prayer even yesterday, from today onwards, you can just say this prayer. Dear God, I am surrendering my will to you and all my desires at your feet. To be completely transparent with you, I really, truly desire marriage. I really, truly desire to have my very own life partner. So, if you are someone who truly desires marriage, this video was totally created just for you. So, you can do this prayer. You can say this prayer. You can even start from today. It doesn't need to be fanciful. You don't even need to say it verbally. You can just pray in your heart, no matter where you are. You don't specifically need to go to your prayer room or altar. Even at your bedside, you can kneel. But just sincerely make this prayer telling, Dear God, truly desire marriage. And only you know who is the best person who can be my best life partner. And I want you to choose for me my God-ordained spouse. Please guide me on how I can be a good partner for this spouse. And whatever previous prayers that I had made about singlehood, I completely rebuke, reject, renounce, denounce them at your feet. Please guide me on how I can be a good God-ordained spouse to my very own God-ordained spouse, God. Please make this prayer as soon as possible after hearing this video. Okay, so why am I saying this? This is because, you see, thoughts and words create worlds. If you are someone who truly desires marriage, but if you have been continuously also praying for singlehood, saying that you're completely content with being single or being married, don't you see that it's also because of your words that you have created, where you're actually coming into agreement with being single, and that could actually be like a word curse over you that is actually keeping you single? Word curses do not need to come from other people. Any words that come out from your mouth regarding your life, your body, your appearance, your skills, anything, your negative words will have the most impact on you compared to any other words that is uttered by anybody else. So my brothers and sisters, if marriage is something that you have really desired for yourself, please do this prayer of denouncing your previous prayers of being content with being single. apologize to God and say this prayer. By saying this, you're actually giving a declaration to God that you are no longer aligned to the life path of singleness, and that you're giving Him an invitation to completely just come and guide you and lead you to your God-ordained spouse. So that's the first thing that you need to do. Number 2, the second step of action that you need to take will be, please examine your family line. Family line meaning your family tree. Now, what do I mean by that? You see, the thing is, although we are people of faith and we are praying to God for our own well-being as well as for the well-being of our children and the future generation, actions that our ancestors have done will have a direct impact on the future generation. That is you, as well as your siblings, as well as your cousins. So what kind of actions am I talking about? Like, for instance, if you were to check the family tree, do you see any patterns of infidelity where, for instance, for your ancestors, was your grandfather a promiscuous man where, despite being married, he was having multiple girlfriends on the outside of his marriage, or even fathered children with other women other than your grandmother? That is one. Number 2, if you're unable to trace back to your grandparents, okay, you can even take a look at the generation that is just right before you. That means for your parents and their siblings. Do you see any pattern of single parents? That means these people have not married, but they have children, and somehow, no matter what relationship, no matter how promising of a relationship that they get into, it never quite lasts, where it actually ends in marriage. So they're perpetually single while raising their children. That's one. Or do you see a constant occurrence of males dying in the family, where most of your aunts end up as widows? And even if they were to marry for the second time, either they get divorced or they get widowed again. That's one. Or another example will be, do you see a pattern of singlehood where almost all your cousins are single? One, they're either unmarried and then they're single parents, or they're just completely, perpetually single. And they are not single by choice. They do desire marriage, but it just so happened that they just couldn't find someone that they could really relate to and form a connection with. And it's just that they just couldn't find someone that they could have a connection with. Now, these examples that I have provided, they actually show that there is a generational curse. Generational curse meaning that, for instance, when the grandfather was promiscuous and then he had fathered other children, the trauma and the heartbreak that he had caused the grandmother as well as the other women, usually heartbreak and resentment will form curses. And the curses, what will the curses do? They will harm the grandfather, and not just the grandfather. They will linger on and they will attack the future generation, or any children who also are born under the same bloodline as the grandfather. It will follow. So the curses can be curses of singlehood, curses of widowhood, curses of poverty, curses of invisibility for singleness, where no matter how talented, how beautiful or handsome a person is, somehow they just don't appear attractive to the opposite sex. No matter how talented they are, no matter how promising they are, they just do not attract the opposite sex. It's like almost they're invisible, and even if there are other people around them who are lesser attractive and maybe they do not possess these great qualities that these people have, they usually just get completely passed on because they really, quite literally, couldn't catch the eye of the opposite sex. And this is the spirit of invisibility that I'm speaking about. So you really need to examine your bloodline for both your mother's side as well as your father's side, and see if there are certain patterns. If there's any pattern that I've mentioned that you can see in your bloodline, then you must definitely pray over your life as well as for your siblings, saying that whatever generational curses that had occurred before my birth, I surrender them all at your feet, God. Please completely remove them, demolish them, uproot them from my life and my siblings' life. So you have to make that prayer. For the prayers, what kind of prayers that I had said before, I will be sharing them in a separate video, so you can refer to them so that it's more streamlined. Now, just praying over the generational curses is not enough. You must really be able to identify what kind of generational curse is rampant in your family. Is it the spirit of poverty? Is it the spirit of infidelity? Is it the spirit of widowhood? And could this spirit of widowhood have happened because some of your relatives also happened to have spirit spouses that they were not aware of? Spirit of invisibility, where a perfectly fine and eligible person just is completely disregarded by the opposite sex. And even if they were to interact with the opposite sex, somehow the other person just cannot form any form of interest with them. So you have to identify this and declare that God to remove the spirit of, for instance, spirit of poverty over your generation. You have to make a specific prayer and really pray over it. And how many times are you supposed to pray over this? I would say at least once a day. Just a quick prayer in your heart. And trust me, all our prayers are heard by God. God is witnessing everything, but we have to specifically say what are the things that we need Him to do, and He will do it. He will move in our favor. So that's very important. Because just praying for your God-ordained spouse is not enough. You have to also remove the big obstacles that are actually preventing you from meeting your God-ordained spouse. And one of the big obstacles is actually these generational curses. Okay, number 3, spirit spouses. Now, for spirit spouses, the thing is, it can vary from person to person. And from what I have learned so far is that a spirit spouse can be formed when a person had been sexually abused, and due to the unresolved trauma, that person is unable to form an emotional connection with anyone, let alone a physical connection. And this unresolved trauma actually physically becomes a spirit spouse that completely cuts off and shuts down any good potential romantic interests that could come in their way. So that's one. Another way will be to have wet dreams. If a male or a female, okay, whether you're a male or you're a female, if you constantly have wet dreams, okay, and the dreams feel all too real, actually this is not something that you're acting out of fantasy. It's just that I do not want to scare you, but that's actually a demonic attack. And what happens is, it's an entity that actually drains your sexuality through your dreams. And by doing that, it actually also removes the interest that the opposite sex can have on you. So even for a person who have spirit spouses, as in like they keep having this, continuously have these wet dreams, they will realize that no matter how promising an interaction that they can have with an opposite sex person, sooner or later the interest will just fizzle out. And they'll not really be able to tell why that person just completely lost interest in them. And this is the reason for it. So for these spirits that I've mentioned, which serve as obstacles preventing you from meeting your God-ordained spouse, there are definitely ways in which you can pray and protect yourself from these attacks, as well as to completely remove these from your life so that you're able to meet with your God-ordained spouse. There are many channels in YouTube where they speak about deliverance from these attacks, because having a spirit spouse is actually where you're going through spiritual attack. So you will need to go through deliverance to completely remove this link that spirit spouse had with you. And for that, you can just do your own research on YouTube and find a good channel where the YouTube creator does deliverance prayers. There are many people who do that, and it's best that you seek them to get your deliverance from these evils. So that's number 2. Number 3. If you're someone not even very close to God, I don't really pray a lot, I can't even call myself as a religious person, then how can I just suddenly surrender my will to God? It feels too artificial. How can I even go about doing that? Well, do not worry about that. I totally understand where you're coming from, because I used to be that person as well. What you can do is buy a journal, okay, a diary, like a lined exercise book, or maybe a thick diary with at least 100 pages, okay? Let it be a bit thick just so that it's easier for you to write whatever information that you would want to. Because if it's too thin, then you're going to run out of the books and then you have to keep buying them. So it's good to just get a good sturdy lined book and you can just start writing to God. So before you write, you just have a prayer in your heart saying that, Dear God, I'm going to write to you right now. If there's any advice that you would like to give me, please give me while I'm writing to you. Let those thoughts appear to me and then I'll write them down in the journal. So when you are writing to God about how your day was after your prayer, that means you pray to God first, telling Him to guide your writing and to advise and to give you advice on what you should do, or if there's a specific problem that you're having and you're asking for the solution, you can pray about it first and then you begin writing about your day to God. Sooner or later, okay, you will have a few thoughts that will occur in your mind which are actually solutions to the problem that you have prayed over. This is how God speaks to you. It doesn't always necessarily have to be from your own religious book, like for instance, from the Bible or Quran. Of course, God speaks through His word as well. Definitely He does. But if you're someone who is just starting out and then you're writing this diary, it's so important because now we're actually formally establishing a relationship with God. You're literally writing a letter to Him and communicating with Him. And by doing that, He will actually give you these thoughts first. So sometimes you won't even realize it, and then when you have written the whole entry, and maybe a few days later, if you were to read that entry again, then you realize that, oh, I was having this problem and then God had actually offered this solution for me. Okay? So once you start doing this journal writing, what will happen is you will begin to receive a few dreams. Now, dreams itself is a very big topic. Okay? But in this video, what I would like to let you know is whenever you have received dreams, this is the first prayer that you should say immediately upon waking up. Dear God, if this dream did not come from you, I rebuke it, I reject it, I renounce it, I denounce it, and I cast it down at your feet. Please completely demolish it, eradicate it from my life. But if this dream is from you, please give me context and guidance on what I should do based on the dream that you have given. Then you will get the guidance from God. So why am I telling you to rebuke the dream first before accepting it? Simply because not all dreams are from God. You must understand this. When you're getting closer to God, remember I was telling you that things won't be so easy, especially when you're asking God to move in your life. When you first begin getting closer to God, the amount of spiritual attacks that you will receive will also be stronger. So that means, like for dreams is actually the spiritual realm. While God can speak to you through the spiritual realm, so does other things that are not of God. So you can receive a very positive dream, which can actually be totally misleading. But unless you leave it and surrender it at God's feet and ask Him for guidance and meaning, at all times you have to seek His guidance first. If you do not seek His guidance and then you just see this positive dream and then you just go ahead with whatever action that you're supposed to take, sometimes you'll find that what you saw in the dream and what happened is actually completely opposite. And that's because it was never given by God. So you have to test the spirits, like what the Christians say. You have to test the fruit as well of any person who's giving you a prophetic vision or a prophetic dream. No matter how close you are with a prophet or a prophetess or a pastor or any religious person in your life, no matter what dream they have, no matter how accurate their dream revelations are or their prophetic messages are, never ever come into agreement with those messages once you receive them. When you're telling you the message, don't even say that I received this message. Don't even do that. What you're supposed to do is immediately, silently in your heart, you tell God, Dear God, if this message is not from you, I rebuke it, I reject it, I denounce it, I renounce it, I cast it down at your feet, completely remove it, demolish it from my life if this message is not from you. However, if this message is from you, and if you are speaking through this religious person that I'm now seeking for counsel, then please give me further confirmations on the same message and guide me on what I'm supposed to do. So now why am I talking about this? Although through journal writing, God is guiding you in your steps. Remember I was saying about the spoken words that can actually do more harm than good, especially if you were to use them in the negative sense about yourself. Well, these words, even if it's coming from religious people or even from your own family members, for instance, anything that they say, anything that they are saying an assumption about you, if you feel strongly in your heart that what they're saying does not have anything to do with you, like for instance, a person can even say, you're already in your 40s. Well, I think that it's a good decision that you have decided not to be married again. So just enjoy your single life then. But if in your heart you actually desire marriage, once the person say that, you can completely rebuke what they have said by just saying, God has a plan for my life and God will guide me on what I have to do in my life. So thank you for your concern. That's it. You can just end it there. You don't need to tell them anything about marriage. You can just tell them that God has a plan for your life. That is also taken as a rebuttal. Don't receive anything that anyone says about you, especially if it is not in a positive sense and it's something that you do not want to come into agreement with. Please don't accept that. So just to recap, I was talking about number 1, completely surrendering and declaring to God that you want Him to give you your God-ordained spouse. Number 2, checking your bloodline and confirming what are the generational curses that is plaguing your family. You have to be very intentional about it. Pray about it. Pray for 1000% intuition and pray to God to actually show you and guide you on what those generational curses are. What are those specific generational curses are? I can assure you, when you start writing in your journal and you ask God, what are the generational curses that are plaguing my family? Please let me know, God. What are the spirits that are actually tormenting my family and myself? He will actually lay it plain for you. He will either reveal to you in dreams, or you will just maybe hear an old family member casually mentioning about something that happened in your family many years ago. Somehow or other, He will reveal it to you, as long as you take the effort to write it down in the journal and ask Him that question. When you do it, your questions will be answered. They will not be ignored. I can assure you on that. So once you get to know the generational curses that are plaguing your family, you can then pray for them. Remember, you do not need 100 people to pray over your family for their well-being. Just you, this one person. If you're able to pray this and get to know the exact generational curses that are plaguing your family, you are going to be the ultimate curse breaker for your family. You're going to be the first person who does that. Things are only going to improve for your family day after day after day. So generational curses, you have to pray over them. Number 3, don't come into agreement with any messages that you receive from prophets, prophetesses, your pastors, imam, any religious priests, as well as your own family members, and especially your parents. Now, parents are the ones who brought us into this world, okay? Of course, through God's help. So our parents' words are actually very, very powerful. They can give life or they can take away life. So if you know in your heart that you have very toxic parents who are not going to say anything nice about you, anything good about you, and they're also not going to say anything good about you to others as well, you make it a point to write it in your journal that whatever negative stuff that your parents have been saying about you, you do not come into agreement with it, and that you rebuke it, you reject it, you denounce it, and you renounce it, and you cast it down at God's feet for Him to completely obliterate it. Write it down. Okay? Remember, sometimes, unfortunately, it's our own parents who give us our insecurities. Sometimes it's not a stranger who pointed out your physical. I can't say that's false. Like anything that's different about you physically, it's not strangers who point it out. Sometimes it's our own parents who make us feel a certain kind of way. And all this to be removed and all this healing to take place, you have to bring it to God. Sometimes when we are praying, we can't really remember what we wish to tell Him in the moment that we're praying at the altar. But when you're writing to God in your journal, every day you can think of a certain topic, a certain area that you need healing, a certain area that's giving you lots of pain, or a certain problem area that's just giving you more and more anxiety. Lay it down at His feet. How? By writing it out in your journal, and also write the sentence, because remember, words create worlds. While you write your problem in the journal, you also write that, thank you God for completely removing and solving this problem for me. Do that. Remember, gratitude also goes hand in hand with your prayer, and God will solve that for you as long as you have absolute 100% unshakable faith that this is done, that you have given it to God, and now He's taking care of the rest. Okay? Now the fourth point. The fourth point is your day-to-day living. Anytime you encounter any problems, anytime you come into a conflict, anytime suddenly you're just attacked with feelings of guilt, grief, just say it in your heart, God, I'm laying down all this grief and sorrow at your feet. They are yours. I'm surrendering to them. Please take them away from me. I'm leaving it at your feet. Thank you for taking them away. They are yours. I've surrendered them to you. Just keep saying that. And when you keep saying that to yourself as well, what happens is sooner or later, whatever problems that you have, immediately you start saying that. And when you say that, God is going to give you that sense of relief. No matter how hard, no matter how fast your heart starts beating, no matter how much of pain that you're experiencing, when you keep saying that, when you keep surrendering that at God's feet, God will relieve that pain. You will immediately just realize that you're not as stressed as before, and certain things do not rattle you as they did before. Okay, so why am I saying all this when we are talking about marriage here? Because these are some of the things that you're doing so that your day-to-day life gets easier and better, and you're going to become a more healthier, happier person, okay, despite your circumstances, because of your certain situation that you're not worthy of getting a good life partner that is ordained by God. If anyone tells that to you, completely rebuke them, because that is not true. If God can do that for me, He will definitely do that for you. I'm sorry that this took so long making this first video, so just bear with me if I'm speaking a bit too slowly. So if any of the points that I've mentioned, because these are the steps that I have taken, if any of this resonates with you, please take it to God. No matter who you worship, okay, you and your God, you must establish a good relationship with Him. Or maybe for some of you, you might be praying to a goddess, whoever it is, okay. Yes, God will grant you your deepest desires, but before He does that, you have to establish a good relationship with Him or her. Remember, you are God's child. God loves you. Always remember that. God is always with you every step of the way. And He will do that for you if you invite Him into your life. கடவுள் உங்களை ஆசீர்வதிப்பார்.